Hello, I'm Richard Gisbert, and you're at The Listening Post. This week, America's new president.
Democracy, liberty, opportunity, and unyielding hope.
The media's part in the making of history.
He is to be the president of the United States. It really did feel like the whole of Chicago was cheering.
The key media moments of an epic election campaign. And
I have a dream.
A Kenyan musician captures the moment in song.
Barack Obama.
Welcome back. Historic is a word too often used by the media, but on this occasion, they were justified. Barack Obama's convincing victory in the U.S. presidential election will go down in history. Obama's first speech as president-elect was delivered in front of a huge crowd in Chicago and to millions around the world through television and radio. But was it the media that made the man or the man that made the media coverage? Did Barack Obama win the race for the White House because of or despite the coverage his campaign attracted? That's our starting point this week. Barack Obama, the media, and a momentous occasion in U.S. political history.
Welcome to Fox News election headquarters in New York.
How excited people are to go out and vote.
الآن نحن ننتظر نتائج كنتاكي وإنديانا.
And CNN can now project that Barack Obama, 47 years old, will become the president-elect of the United States.
Everyone knew that Barack Obama had won the election, and you saw split screens from Harlem to Chicago to Kenya that gave you, I think, an indication of how historic the night turned out to be.
The international media has been obsessed with these elections. People across the world really felt a sense of ownership with these elections, so it really did feel like a global election, and they absolutely pulled out the stops.
He is to be the president of the United States. It really did feel like the whole of Chicago was cheering.
The U.S. media have been gorging themselves on the election story for the better part of 2 years. All of that coverage culminated on election night.
You check out this technology, Brett.
When the networks pulled out all the technical stops and gadgetry to pull in the 71 million American viewers up for grabs.
Right now, I want you to watch what we're about to do, because you've never seen anything like this on television.
I wondered how many employees had to get laid off for CNN to afford the holograms that they were using. That was a bit over the top.
So at one point you had Will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas appearing via hologram with Anderson Cooper. It's technology for the sake of technology.
And look at this.
MSNBC had a whole green screen chamber that made people giving poll results look as if they were appearing in the well of the Oracle at Delphi, with columns surrounding them and graphics popping out of the center.
I think the reason that they pulled out all the stops has to be that they basically had hours of live TV to cover with not really much to tell us until certain polling stations had closed. So how are they going to keep everybody's interest on their TV station and not someone else's, unless they came up with these gimmicks?
The tone of the election night coverage in the U.S. swung between the serious and the celebratory, between the reporters' need to be objective and the excitement of witnessing history as it unfolds.
This is truly an incredible moment of American history.
Media critics on the political right argued the election night broadcasts confirmed that the U.S. media had been biased throughout the campaign in favor of Obama.
Many people were watching analysts or anchors, journalists on TV last night, and were saying, they looked visibly excited as they were announcing these results, which kind of brought into question for some people, the biases of those, in the networks who were celebrating.
There was a focus on the polling, on the horse race, and that was to Obama's benefit because he was polling better, he was fundraising better, and he was ahead in that horse race. So if there was an Obama bias in the media that favored him, it was the long-standing bias in favor of the perceived winner.
Barack Obama capitalized on new media in a way his opponents, first Hillary Clinton and then John McCain, did not. Obama and his allies raised record amounts of money on the net, got organized on the net.
We believe in the grassroots. We believe a contact between a human being and another human being is the best political contact there is.
And fought much of the election on the net.
especially where social networking and connectivity between platforms is concerned. It created fantastic get out the vote efforts, canvassing efforts that brought people from state to state to go door to door to make contact with voters.
Who wants to vote? You got 4 days to register.
What really mattered in this campaign is that peers, we're talking to peers about this campaign, what he was able to do with the internet to power that actual human connection out in the field was quite substantial.
What's been interesting to me is to watch how new media has spilled over into the traditional or the corporate media. When McCain was asked that question about how many houses he owned, for example, and he wasn't really sure, that became a big issue, showing the disconnect between McCain and most Americans, obviously. That question was asked because Brave New Films, an independent web-based media outlet, produced a video about it. And that provoked a reporter to ask McCain the question directly. So we see these examples where new media, I think, actually pushed old media in a different direction.
ستتنفس أمريكا قليلا يتنفس ربما العالم لكن لا نعرف بأي درجة.
News channels throughout the Arab world covered the election as well. Some of what they had to say echoed what was being reported in U.S. media. Some did not.
You can divide it into two ways. One has been to cover it in its historic context within US politics, and one has been to cover it in how it will impact the Arab world. When it concerned how it was, in the kind of the internal domestic US front, they absolutely, most Arab media agreed that this was a historic day. I've also heard lots of bloggers say things like, well, we wish we could do the same in our country, where we could kind of gain inspiration and lessons from the black struggle in the United States and kind of copy it here in our own country. But the way they've covered it of how it will impact the Arab world is very cautiously and with a great deal of ambivalence. Because for a lot of Arabs, US foreign policy, doesn't really change between Democrats and Republicans, because many in the Arab world believe that the United States is biased towards Israel anyway.
The global media interest in this story was unprecedented. The goodwill toward the next American president is palpable. However, overseas and in the Arab media, they have reason to ask the question, does Barack Obama offer change they can believe in?
Change has come to America.
Here's how our Global Village voices see the reporting of the U.S. presidential election.
America elected its president, Barack Hussein Obama. It's about time the American media took a serious role and some responsibility for what they do. The world is watching, and I think for once, the American people's voice was heard and the right decision was made. Hopefully, the media, which often causes problems, will follow suit and make this a better America to live in.
I think this is going to take it to a whole new level, and we're going to see someone who is very cool and collected, calm and very professional in front of the TV media, and someone who's going to, I think, be used in future classes as to how to utilize the media to successfully portray a very positive and modern, even post-racial image upon the TV medium.
Our Global Village Voice platform offers anyone the chance to be a media critic. Just email us at listeningpost@aljazeera.net and we'll find a way to get your comments on what is good or bad about the media on the air. Time now for Listening Post News Bites. The French magazine L'Express has managed to upset Muslim governments across North Africa. Its latest edition has a special 10-page report entitled Jesus Muhammad Shock, accompanied by a front cover illustration. The French edition of the magazine showed Muhammad with his face uncovered, but in an attempt at cultural sensitivity, the international edition, which went out to the Arab world, had the prophet's face shrouded. That was not enough for the Moroccan information minister, however, who cited the country's press code when he banned the edition. 3 days after the Moroccan decision, authorities in Tunisia and Algeria took the same step. An editor from L'Express, which publishes a monthly supplement on Morocco, said he could not understand the decision. A photo taken moments after the controversial killing of a Reuters cameraman in Gaza has won an award from the magazine editor and publisher in the Best News Picture category. Agence France press photographer Mohammed Al-Baba took this shot moments after Fadel Al-Shana was killed by an Israeli tank shell. Al-Shana's video camera also captured the moment of his death. At the award ceremony, Al-Baba dedicated the award to his late colleague. the Israeli soldier responsible was cleared of any wrongdoing. Eritrea is one of the worst places in the world to cover, and now comes word of another journalist there in trouble. According to the media freedom group Reporters Without Borders, a missing TV journalist, Danielle Kibram from Era TV, has in fact been held in a prison camp in the south of the country for the last 2 years for attempting to flee to Sudan. Reporters Without Borders recently published its annual Press Freedom Index, which for the second year running put Eritrea at the bottom of the table. The organization describes Eritrea as an open prison and the media organs of the government as Stalinist-style propaganda tools. The world's youngest democracy, the tiny Himalayan mountain kingdom of Bhutan, has launched its first daily newspaper. Bhutan Today will have an initial print run of 18,000 copies, but it's not entirely clear who will read it, given that it will initially be printed only in English in a country largely populated by mountain-dwelling peasants who speak a language called Dzongkha. The launch of the paper was accompanied by chants and prayers from Buddhist monks. The newspaper will be delivered on foot and horseback to the far corners of the country. Estimated delivery time from press to doorstep, in some cases, a week. After the break, our top 5 media moments from the 2008 U.S. presidential election campaign.